Hello, my name is Michael Hartley, and this is my lesson plan. The Common Core State standards I'll be using are Math Q.A.1 quantities, and the student should be able to reason quantitatively and use units to solve problems, and also Biology 11.B.4 Nature of Science. Students shall design and safely conduct scientific inquiry. The objective for students learning for this lesson is that the students should be able to work together with other students and develop a hypothesis and then design an experiment to test that hypothesis. They should also be able to carry out the experiment, gather data, take that data and interpret it, and perform a t-test to test the validity of the hypothesis. Why have you chosen these objectives? I've chosen these objectives because it's part of the Common Core standards, and also students should be able to develop hypotheses and design experiments for future courses, and also for possibility of their employment. The students will be grouped for instruction by whole group instruction at first, and then we will break into small groups of 3 to 5 students each, depending on the class size. And I'm gonna split them up by allowing them to draw a number out of a bowl or a bucket or something like that, so it's random and no one thinks anybody's playing favorites. And once the students break into the groups, they'll perform their experiments and everything, and after they have gathered their data, we'll get back in their groups in the classroom, and I'll instruct them on how to perform the t-test and write their paper. I chose this grouping because some experiments can be complicated and require a lot of work, and being in a small group allows the students to split part of that work up and each carry out a specific thing instead of having to worry about doing the whole thing. This also allows them to come up with more complicated, more in-depth experiments. My teaching methods I'll use for this lesson are lecture with discussion, brainstorming, and small group activity. I'll do the lecture with discussion at the beginning whenever I'm teaching the students how to form hypotheses and design experiments. I'll then break the students into small groups where they'll brainstorm and come up with a hypothesis and actually design the experiment. And then, like I said earlier, after we perform the experiment and everything, I will discuss with the students how to perform the t-test, interpret data, and just really show them how to make a scientific paper. And I've chosen these methods because the lecture with discussion allows me to demonstrate to the students exactly what a hypothesis is and how to form one. It also allows the students to ask questions if they come up. And like I said earlier, I'll use this method again whenever we go over the t-test and the report, because it can be very complicated, and I just want to make sure all the students are on the same page, all the groups have the same information, and that way everybody's on an even playing field and that they understand it all. I've chosen to use the brainstorming method because it's an excellent method to get the student thinking about the lesson. The students will already be in the groups and brainstorm with their groups to come up with a hypothesis and experiment. And I chose the small group activity method because it allows the students to carry out the experiment they brainstormed in their group. It also allows them to work together on interpreting the data and performing the t-test. This has been part 1 through 3 of my lesson plan.